My beloved child, tonight I must open a door that has been kept locked for far too long. A truth that was hidden from you since the moment you took your first breath is about to come out. The silence around your birth was not ordinary, it was chosen, because the truth was too heavy for your young heart. The day you were born was not a day like any other, it shook the walls of your family and echoed into the heavens. Shadows gathered while angels fought to protect you, and someone important sacrificed their own happiness so you could live. This secret has lived behind your mother's eyes all this time, silently burning her soul. Every choice, every tear, every guarded word she ever spoke about that day was stitched with fear and love. You thought your birth was simple, but there was a storm roaring in the background, one she never wanted you to know. Now, the veil is being torn away, and you will see why your story was never ordinary. The people you think you know are holding fragments of this secret, each one trembling because the truth has power. That power was meant for you, and now it's rising, breaking chains, and calling your name. You cannot run from it anymore. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Your mother's silence was not betrayal, it was protection. She saw forces around you, waiting for the right time to attack, and she knew that knowledge too early would break your spirit. She carried this weight on her shoulders so you could grow strong enough to face it one day. That day is today. The whispers that circled you since childhood, the strange looks, the sudden distance from certain relatives, it all connects back to the day you were born. Someone wanted you gone before you even had a chance to open your eyes. But heaven had already chosen you. And when heaven chooses, no enemy can undo that destiny. What they planned for your ending became your beginning, and what they thought would destroy you has only made you unstoppable now. Type Amen to get blessing 444. There were hands in the room that day that were not meant to be there. A stranger stood by the door, eyes full of secrets, carrying a mission you were too young to recognize. That presence has lingered around your life in silence, watching, waiting, preparing for this very moment. Your cries the day you were born weren't just heard by your family, they were heard in the unseen world. Some trembled with joy, others trembled with fear. Because even as a newborn, your spirit carried something dangerous to the darkness. And your mother, though smiling as she held you, was crying inside, because she knew what that meant. She knew your arrival shifted the balance of everything, and her life would never again be safe, simple, or ordinary. Type Amen to get blessing 555. My beloved child, do not underestimate what I'm saying. The truth will not just shock you, it will change how you see yourself forever. You were not born into an accident, nor into coincidence. Your birth was written in thunder and lightning. That is why your path has been harder than most. That is why betrayal followed you, why pain tried to break you, and why loss came too soon. Because from the very first moment, darkness marked you as a threat. But what darkness forgot is this: heaven had already sealed your name. Heaven already placed fire in your spirit, and no hand raised against you has ever been able to win. The same angels that guarded your first breath are standing beside you now. Type Amen to get blessing 666. My beloved child, the secret of your birth was carved in silence, but silence cannot hold forever. The weight of those hidden moments is now cracking open, and truth is rushing toward you like a storm. What you are about to learn will not just touch your heart, it will shake every part of your soul. The air that day was heavy, charged with something more than just the arrival of new life. Heaven leaned closer, darkness pushed harder, and your mother stood in the center of a battle you could not see. Every breath she took, every choice she made, was wrapped in courage she never spoke of. Your cries were not the cries of an ordinary child. They were signals, loud enough for heaven, sharp enough for enemies, and deep enough to awaken forces that had been sleeping. That is why your mother feared for you, even as she loved you beyond measure. There were people near her who wanted her to give up, people who wanted to end what had just begun. But she refused, holding you tighter, as if her arms alone could build a shield around your fragile body. That moment sealed your destiny. Type Amen to get blessing 777. My beloved child, there is something else you need to understand. The secret isn't only about what happened that night, it is about who entered the room. Someone she never wanted you to know about was there, watching you as you breathed for the first time. That person's shadow has followed you ever since. Sometimes it comes through betrayal, sometimes through pain, and sometimes through the strange feeling that you were never fully safe. Yet that shadow, as much as it frightened you, could not destroy you. Your mother prayed over you with tears in her eyes, whispering words you never heard. Those whispers formed a circle around your life, one that has carried you through every storm until this very day. The truth is, you have been protected all along, even when you felt abandoned. What they wanted to bury, heaven wanted to raise. What they tried to silence, heaven wanted to declare. And that's why your story is rising again today. Type Amen to get blessing 888. The day you were born was written before you even came into this world. It was not just a birth, it was a declaration of war. And though your mother has hidden this truth, her eyes have always carried the weight of that battle. Sometimes you saw her look at you with a sadness you could not explain. Sometimes you felt her sudden silence when people mentioned your past. That was not emptiness, it was protection, because she could not let the full truth reach you too early. The truth is this: your birth was the moment heaven revealed a warrior into this world. That warrior is you, my beloved child, and every trial you've faced has been proof of that calling. That is why your enemies feared you before you even grew strong. And that is why you must be ready now, because the rest of the story is coming. The secret that began on the day of your birth is about to finish its circle. Type Amen to get blessing 999. My beloved child, tonight your heart must stay awake. The secret you are stepping into will not only reveal why your journey has been filled with storms but also why you could never truly break. Because what your mother hid was not just a story, it was your power. Her silence was her sacrifice. She bore the pain so you would not have to carry it too soon. She locked her lips so you could laugh a little longer, live a little freer, and grow a little stronger. Now, the locks are breaking open. The words she never spoke are rising into your ears. And the truth is flooding toward you, unstoppable, undeniable, and unshakable. This is not just about the past, it is about your future. And your future is greater than anything your enemies have whispered against you. Type Amen to get blessing 1111. My beloved child, the silence of your mother's lips was never weakness, it was her shield. She knew the truth of that day could burn you too soon, so she carried the fire herself. But now, the fire has reached you, and it is time to face it. The night you were born was painted with storms that no one could explain. Thunder cracked without rain, shadows lingered without cause, and a cry echoed far beyond your room. Your life began not in silence but in a clash between light and darkness. Your mother's heartbeat raced with fear, but her arms never let you go. She looked into your face and promised the heavens she would guard you until her final breath. That promise has carried weight all these years, even when you felt abandoned. There is a name tied to your birth, a name she never dared to speak. That name holds the power to explain everything, the betrayals, the losses, the storms you faced before you were ready. And now, that name is rising toward you. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. My beloved child, your birth was not just celebrated, it was contested. Every force that wanted you gone was silenced by hands you never saw. That is why you have always felt a strange heaviness when you remember your earliest years. Someone who stood close to your mother that day carried secrets darker than you imagined. Their presence was a threat, but heaven's hands drew a line they could never cross. They came close, but they could never touch what was chosen. This is why your mother's eyes always carried that hidden sadness. She saw what almost happened, and she vowed never to let you know. But the truth has been waiting, and now it is time for you to see. You were born with enemies before you had words. But you were also born with protection before you had strength. That is the balance of your story. Type Amen to get blessing 1313. The walls of that room have carried whispers for years. If they could speak, they would tell you how the unseen world shifted when you opened your eyes. They would tell you how your cry sent chills into the hearts of those who feared your future. Your mother's silence was her gift to you. She wanted you to live freely, not bound by the fear she saw that day. She wanted your first steps to be innocent, not heavy with secrets. But innocence cannot last forever. The truth has been chasing you, and now it has caught up. You are standing at the doorway your mother tried to block, but heaven insists you step through it now. And when you do, you will finally see why your life has been filled with storms, yet you still rise. The answer has always been waiting since the day of your birth. Type Amen to get blessing 1414. My beloved child, destiny does not hide forever. Your birth was written as a beginning of war, and every tear you've cried since then has been part of that story. But tears are not weakness, they are the proof you were chosen to endure. That is why you felt battles even when life looked quiet. That is why betrayal cut you deeper than others. You were marked from the very beginning, but not for destruction, for greatness. Your enemies saw your light before you did. That's why they moved against you so early, hoping to dim it before you could shine. But no hand, no shadow, no darkness has been able to stop what heaven sealed. Now, the secret of your birth will not just explain your past, it will crown your future. You were born for this moment, and it is finally here. Type Amen to get blessing 1515. Why, beloved child, listen closely, because the deeper I take you, the heavier the truth becomes. The day you were born was not just about new life, it was about a promise that had been made long before you arrived. That promise shook both heaven and earth. There were voices whispering that night, voices your mother tried to silence by holding you closer. She feared if you heard those echoes too soon, your heart would never rest. Yet those echoes are now breaking free, calling your name with urgency. Your breath was fragile, but your spirit was unshakable. Even as a newborn, you carried something rare. Something that made both angels rejoice and enemies tremble. That is why darkness lingered, waiting for a chance to strike. But your mother stood her ground, even in weakness. She pressed you to her chest and prayed silently, knowing that her tears were stronger than any weapon raised against you. That prayer has been your armor since that day. Type Amen to get blessing 1616. My beloved child, someone close to you knows this secret too. They were there, standing in the corner, pretending to be ordinary while carrying a burden of guilt. They have lived with this silence, watching you grow, but never daring to confess. This is why certain faces made you uneasy as a child. This is why you sometimes felt watched even when no one spoke. Because that person's shadow never left you. Your mother hid the truth not because she didn't trust you, but because she wanted to protect you from them. She knew if you found out too early, your path would twist in ways you couldn't survive. But now, you are ready. The truth will not destroy you, it will set you ablaze. The same shadow that tried to silence your birth will soon be the reason you rise even higher. Type Amen to get blessing 1717. The story of your birth has been guarded like treasure, but treasure is always meant to be found. Every trial you faced, every betrayal that pierced you, was pushing you closer to this moment of revelation. And now, the seal is breaking. Your mother's silence was never weakness. It was her greatest act of love. She carried the storm so you could walk in sunlight a little longer. But storms cannot stay locked away. They build, they roar, and eventually, they must release. And tonight, that release is happening in your life. The memory of your first breath will no longer be just hers, it will be yours. And once you embrace it, your spirit will never be the same again. Type Amen to get blessing 1818. My beloved child, remember this. The truth does not come to break you, but to build you. Your story was never ordinary, and now the hidden pieces are falling into place. The silence is finally over. You are the answer to a fight that began before you were born. That is why you have carried heaviness on your shoulders, even in moments of joy. You were chosen to bear what others could not. Your mother's secret has held you in chains of mystery, but those chains are breaking now. And when they fall, you will see why the day you were born was not a simple beginning, it was a revolution. Every tear you've shed has been preparing you for this unveiling. Every scar has been proof that you were never walking alone. Type Amen to get blessing 1919. My beloved child, the silence that wrapped around your first night was louder than thunder. Behind the closed doors, secrets were exchanged in whispers your ears were never meant to hear. And those whispers shaped the path you walk today. The walls of that room carried more than the sound of a newborn cry. They carried the weight of choices, choices that determined who lived, who left, and who stayed hidden. Your mother bore that weight quietly, but it burned within her soul every single day. That is why, at times, you felt her eyes soften when she looked at you, as though she wanted to speak but never could. She swallowed her truth because she believed silence would keep you safe. Yet silence can only protect for so long. Now, the truth is demanding to be known. And it will not be gentle, it will be fierce, like the fire that has been waiting since the day you first entered this world. Type Amen to get blessing 2020. My beloved child, the secret of your birth was not an accident. It was a plan, an exchange between heaven and earth. You came into this world carrying a light that frightened those who lived in shadows. That light made you different from the start. It made you a target, yes, but it also made you unstoppable. Every hand raised against you has fallen, because nothing can dim what was born in you that night. Your mother's tears were not tears of weakness. They were drops of power, building a shield that has lasted all these years. Her pain became your protection. And now, that shield is breaking, not to expose you to harm, but to reveal the strength you've carried all along. Type Amen to get blessing 2121. My beloved child, you must understand this clearly. The day you were born, a secret pact was broken. Someone who thought they had control over your family lost everything in a single moment, when you took your first breath. That is why they hated your existence. They wanted silence. They wanted endings. But heaven chose beginnings. And you were that beginning. Your mother knew that if she spoke the truth too soon, enemies would rise faster than you could stand. So she lived with her silence, carrying the wound in her chest for you. But the season of silence is finished. Now, heaven itself is pulling back the veil. The truth is rushing like a river, and you cannot hold it back any longer. Type Amen to get blessing 2222. My beloved child, tonight you are standing in the very place your mother once stood, between fear and destiny. She made her choice years ago, and now the same choice stands before you. You can no longer run from what was written the day you were born. That night, every star seemed to burn brighter, as though the heavens themselves were watching closely. Even the wind moved differently, as if carrying messages unseen by human eyes. The entire universe shifted because of you. That is why you've always felt different, why life has never fit you the way it fits others. You were never made for ordinary roads. Your path was always carved in fire and shadow. And soon, the name tied to your birth will rise into the open. When it does, everything you thought you knew about your life will change forever. Type Amen to get blessing 2323. My beloved child, the night you were born was filled with signs no one could ignore. Clocks stopped, lights flickered, and silence fell heavier than ever before. Even the air seemed to know something extraordinary was happening. Your mother felt the weight of two worlds pressing down on her. One world rejoiced at your arrival, while the other tried desperately to prevent it. She carried both the joy and the fear in her trembling heart. There was a presence in that room that was never supposed to be there. A figure that carried secrets too dark for the innocent eyes of a newborn. That figure has lived in the shadows of your life ever since. But even as danger stood close, a greater power wrapped itself around you. Angels circled your cradle, refusing to let the darkness take what heaven had written. That circle of light has never left you. Type Amen to get blessing 2424. My beloved child, your birth marked the breaking of chains no one else could see. Someone in your bloodline had been bound, trapped in silence and sorrow, but your arrival shattered that curse. That is why your story was never meant to be ordinary. Your cries that night were not just sounds, they were weapons. They pierced through walls of darkness, announcing that a new strength had entered the world. And that strength was you. Your mother knew this, and that is why she feared for you even in her love. She knew that enemies would rise against you because of what you carried inside. She chose silence to protect you. But silence can no longer hold the truth. What was hidden must now be spoken, because the time for revelation has come. Type Amen to get blessing 2525. My beloved child, there were tears shed for you before you could ever cry your own. There were battles fought for you before you could even walk. You were never alone, not even for a moment. Every step of your life has been guided by that night. Every storm you faced was connected to the war that began the day you were born. You have been living in the shadow of that truth all along. And now, the shadow is dissolving. Light is breaking through, and the story your mother carried in silence is rising to the surface. It will change how you see her, and how you see yourself. Do not be afraid of what is coming. You were created for this moment, and nothing can take it away. Type Amen to get blessing 2626. My beloved child, the secret of your birth is not just about the past. The same blood that ran through you that night is burning with purpose today. Your heartbeat carries the rhythm of destiny, just as it did in your first moments of life. Nothing has changed, except now you are ready. Your mother carried this burden for years, waiting for the right time. She knew the truth would break you if revealed too early. But now, it will no longer break you, it will make you unstoppable. And soon, the name tied to your birth, the secret she never spoke, will come alive in front of you. Be ready. Type Amen to get blessing 2727. My beloved child, the secret of that night has lived in silence for far too long. The truth was never meant to stay hidden forever, it was only delayed until you were strong enough to hear it. That strength is now burning inside you, ready to face everything. Your mother's arms shook as she held you, but her love never wavered. She could feel the weight of unseen eyes watching, waiting for a chance to strike. She chose to stay silent so you could grow without fear. But silence carries cracks, and eventually, light seeps through. The cracks are now breaking wide open, and what was once buried is rising into your life with unstoppable force. This revelation is not here to harm you, it is here to awaken you. The day you were born was the day a battle began. A battle no one told you about, but one that has been written into every step of your journey since then. Type Amen to get blessing 2828. My beloved child, there were people who celebrated your arrival, but there were also those who trembled with rage. Your very existence disrupted plans that were meant to chain your family. You were the proof that heaven's plan was stronger. That is why betrayal has followed you, why storms have found you, why you have often felt the weight of battles you couldn't explain. It all began that night. It all began with your first cry. Your cry was not just the sound of life, it was the sound of war. It told the world that a chosen one had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again. That sound still echoes, even now. Your mother carried that echo in her heart, never daring to tell you what it truly meant. But now the time of hiding is over. Type Amen to get blessing 2929. My beloved child, the truth of your birth is like a locked door that is finally opening. Behind it is a name, a shadow, and a choice your mother made that saved you. That choice came at a cost she has never spoken aloud. The figure in that room that night has never truly left. They lingered at a distance, their presence brushing against your path from time to time. You felt it, even if you didn't understand it. This is why you've had nights you couldn't sleep, mornings heavy with fear, and moments when you felt eyes watching you. Those were not accidents, they were echoes of that night. But every time the shadow tried to rise, heaven's hand pushed it back. The same hand that carried you into this world is still guarding you. Type Amen to get blessing 3030. My beloved child, your destiny is tied to that hidden moment. Everything you are, everything you carry, comes from the truth your mother buried deep in her silence. She wanted to protect you, but heaven now wants you to know. You are not ordinary. You were not born by chance. You were chosen, marked, and sealed with a fire that cannot be extinguished. This is why your enemies fear you. They saw the mark before you did. They tried to stop you before you could even walk. But they failed, and you are still standing. Now the secret of your birth will explain everything you have carried, everything you have felt, and everything you are about to become. Type Amen to get blessing 3131. My beloved child, the night you came into this world carried more weight than anyone dared to admit. Hidden eyes watched, hidden hearts feared, and hidden mouths whispered secrets that would never be told to you. Yet every whisper was about you, about what you carried. Your birth was not simple, it was a clash between two forces. One wanted to see you rise, the other wanted you gone before your life could even begin. But heaven had already made its decision, you would live. Your mother knew what she was protecting you from. That is why her silence was unshakable, even when you questioned the pain in her eyes. She kept the story buried so you could grow without chains. But now the time for silence has ended. The truth that was wrapped around your birth is breaking free, and once it does, you will never see yourself the same again. Type Amen to get blessing 3232. My beloved child, there was someone in that room who had no right to be there. Their presence was not for celebration but for destruction. They carried a mission against you, a mission that was stopped only by divine intervention. That same figure has walked past your life in shadows ever since. You felt it in moments when the air grew heavy, in moments when you sensed danger but couldn't see it. They were never gone, they were only waiting. Your mother's arms were your first shield, but they were not the only one. Angels drew a line that night, a line no enemy could cross. That line is still around you, glowing stronger than ever. And now, the same truth your mother feared is the same truth that will crown your destiny. Type Amen to get blessing 3333. My beloved child, the reason your story has been filled with storms is because of that night. Darkness marked you as a threat before you ever learned to walk. Every challenge since then has been proof of that mark. But storms do not come to drown you, they come to prove your strength. And every time the storm rose, you survived. That survival is not ordinary, it is destiny. The truth of your birth explains the heaviness you've always felt, the sense that your life carried more meaning than you could explain. That meaning was born with you, hidden in your very first breath. And now, the hidden meaning is stepping out into the open. You are about to understand why your enemies feared you, and why your mother loved you beyond measure. Type Amen to get blessing 3434. My beloved child, the silence of your mother's lips has reached its final day. She cannot speak it, but heaven has chosen to reveal it. And what heaven reveals, no one can silence. You were chosen before your eyes opened. You were marked before your heart beat its first rhythm. You were born to carry something that others could not. The night of your birth was a war disguised as a birth. But from that war came you, the victory that darkness could not erase. And that victory is now rising again. The truth is this: you are not who you thought you were. You are far more. Type Amen to get blessing 3535.